Yes, sir. Quinshon Judkins and Caleb Downs lost their black stripes.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hump Day is almost a celebration for many people around the country because it's kind of the day when, when you get over that hump at the workday, you're almost to the weekend. And today's Hump Day is a celebration for another reason because two more Buckeyes have lost their black stripes. Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to a Wednesday edition of Locked On Buckeyes here on Wednesday, March 27th in the year 2024. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast, and I'd like to thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every day. First, it was Jeremiah Smith, the true freshman who was the quickest Buckeye ever to lose his black stripe. And then it's a couple transfers, one from Alabama, the other from Ole Miss. Caleb Downs and Quinshon Judkins are the next two Buckeyes to lose their black stripes. And this, to me, speaks volumes about these two young men, not only about what they did down there in the Southeastern Conference, but about what they have done quickly in Columbus to make a name for themselves. And at this point in the spring practice session, you're saying, oh, wow, they have done enough. Take that black stripe off. They have officially proven they have what it takes to be a Buckeye. And that's big. And you could go out there and look on the Wikipedia or look on the stat sheet and say, oh, Judkins, he's a dude. One season over 1,500 rushing yards in totality in 2 years down there at Ole Miss. Over 2,600 rushing yards. That's a dude for you. Caleb Downs, a true freshman starter for Nick Saban. Think about how many times we have been able to say that about anybody out there that played in Tuscaloosa. You're a true freshman starter for Nick Saban. It's not normal. It doesn't normally happen. And Caleb Downs did that. 107 tackles, total tackles, 3.5 TFLs. I think it was 4 pass breakups. Almost said 2. About 4 pass breakups. SEC Freshman of the Year. It was first team all defense in the SEC. And for Judkins, he was 2-time first team all SEC on the offensive side of the ball. But Judkins and Downs, they're the last 2 SEC Freshmen of the Year. So you're talking about guys that not only do things at a high level, you're also talking about guys that do it at a high level in the best conference in the country. Yes, the Ohio State Buckeyes are in the Big Ten Conference. I am not stupid. I'm not a poor analyst. I have no problem saying the SEC has the best talent and the best teams every single year. If you disagree with me, look and see how many SEC teams have won the national championship since the BCS was inducted in the 98 season, which was the first time there was a true national championship game. Think about how many the SEC has won and how many the Big Ten has won, and then come back and talk to me if you try to still want to disagree and go against the grain of me saying that the SEC is the best conference in the country. I ain't going to sugarcoat it. That's the real. That's the reality. And I do think if you are doing what Caleb Downs did down there in the SEC, if you are doing what Quinshon Judkins did for multiple seasons down there in the Southeastern Conference, it's heavily weighted. And I also think and still believe you will do as good as you did down there in Alabama or at Ole Miss, or maybe even better. You could do better in the Big Ten because the competition ain't the same. No. It's not the same. Think about Wisconsin. Think about Iowa. Think about Purdue. Think about Indiana. Think about Michigan State. Think about Michigan. They're good of late. But what have they been over the past 20 years? Yes, they could do this up here in the Big Ten in the Midwest over and over and over again. And for Ohio State to lose out on Caleb Downs' recruitment initially when he was coming out of high school, and then all of a sudden when he's in the portal after Nick Saban retires, Ohio State says, hey, we can go get him. It wasn't just an easy thing or a done deal. They had to push, they had to work for that bad boy. And ultimately worked hard enough and got that commitment from him out of the portal, so much that he was even going through the enrollment process down there in Athens. That enrollment process got halted, and then Downs decided to play his football in Columbus. This is big for the Buckeyes. not only for the players to quickly prove they have what it takes to be a Buckeye, but these two guys to me should be starters day one. And I understand we talk about all the time about what Travion Henderson means to the coaches, what he means to the team. I think Judkins is a better all-around football player, all around, and could do different things as a running back than Henderson can or has done so far. And that's not saying Henderson's a bad running back. I just think that Judkins, you probably want to have him start. I think Henderson, especially with the way his body is and the way that he is getting fractured and getting hurt in both years he's been in Columbus, I think it's both years, the entire time he's been in Columbus, I do believe you need to just, Judkins has played better overall for his entire career. Let him rock. Let him start. I understand that people may push back on it, but push back all you want to. Put the best players on the field and let the chips fall where they may. That is what I believe, is what I've always believed. And I still think Judkins is going to be the better back than Henderson. Keep this in mind, too. With Sonny Styles now being at linebacker, you got Lathan Ransom healthy once again for another year. This allows Downs to come into Ohio State, play the same position, get coached up, do things at a high level consistently, and do it so well that, man, this is a piece the Buckeyes defense desperately needed. The Buckeyes can easily have the best secondary in the Big Ten and can be in the running for the best secondary in the entire country. Because think about it. If the Buckeyes play a heavy set team, maybe a Wisconsin not on the schedule, an Iowa, or a team that's playing and utilizing more heavy sets, what do you want to do? Maybe play 3 LBs. Who do you might want to bring on the field? CJ Hicks. Who might be your 3 LBs? Cody Simon, Sonny Styles, CJ Hicks. Okay, what does that mean? Hancock goes off the field. What does that mean? You still got Downs back there deep, doing what he does best. That's fine. Now, if you got Sonny Styles back there deep, that alters Caleb Downs' role. That alters, if you want to run a 3 linebacker set, do you want to bring in an Arvell Reese? Okay, not a problem with that at all, but you're bringing in somebody else that has a lot less experience. So I do think Downs coming in is great. It's more versatile for the Buckeyes secondary, for the Buckeyes defense. It has more experience, and it's great for the entire team as a whole. Put the best players on the field. Let the chips fall where they may. That's all I got to say about that. But when it comes to these two guys, for them to be the first 2 transfers to lose their black stripe, it's huge, man. Just like it was for Jeremiah Smith to be the first true freshman to lose his black stripe right now. It's huge. Absolutely monumental that these 2 athletes are the first 2 athletes, transfer players, to lose their black stripe during spring practice and the current point of practice that we are currently in. That's all I got to say. I do have a thought about who could be next to lose their black stripe. We'll dive into that next. This episode is brought to you by Bettor Together. Bracket already busted. Tired of the same old daily fantasy grind where you make a roster, cross your fingers, and hope for the best? Or losing on the last leg of your pick'em entry? Introducing Bettor Together, the first cooperative daily fantasy platform where teamwork triumphs talent and you can play with your friends, not against them. Pick more or less on real-time player stats, strategize with your partner to boost your odds and climb the leaderboard together. So grab a friend and join the social daily fantasy sports movement. Bettor Together is the first cooperative daily fantasy application. Bettor Together offers a familiar experience for existing daily fantasy sports players with a social twist. You can play with a friend or a teammate. Bettor Together also provides a sense of camaraderie and enhances the social experience of watching sports. Also, Bettor Together makes you realize that daily fantasy sports is fun alone, but like a lot of other things, it's better when doing it together or with friends. Download Bettor Together now from the App Store and sign up using promo code LOCKEDON for a chance to win your share of over $1,000 in cash prizes. Remember the code LOCKEDON because winning alone is fun, but it's better together. This episode is also brought to you by Amazon Fire TV. Fire TV is your destination for sports From live games to highlights to in-depth analysis, Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs, as well as a Fire TV stick that you can plug into your existing TV that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV. Whether it's opening weekend for baseball or the college basketball tournament, you're going to want to have a Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us at Locked On and most of the big pro leagues and college conferences as well. Fire TV channels lets you dive into all of the game analysis, highlights, and more to keep up to date on all the latest in the world of sports, March Madness, NBA, MLB, and a whole lot more. Not to mention great news, entertainment, gaming, travel, cooking videos as well. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit www.amazon.com/LockedOnFireTV. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We have recently discussed three really talented Buckeyes that have lost their black stripes already through this current portion of spring practice. Jeremiah Smith, Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Downs. Downs, a former starter at Alabama. Judkins, a former starter at Ole Miss. Smith, I do believe, will be a future starter at Ohio State starting this year. Who could be next? Who will be next? And I know yesterday we discussed the incoming guys, the incoming freshmen, the early enrollees, guys that could be next to lose their black stripe. Julian Sands on the list. You have Edric Houston's on the list. You got some guys there. James Peoples is on the list. You got guys there that are really, really, really good, that are definitely in the running to lose their black stripe. But amongst those that are transfers, do you think a transfer will be the next guy to lose their black stripe, or will it be somebody that's an incoming person? The first guy that comes to my mind, where I'm speculating, will he be next? Will he not be next? And those of you there that are on the YouTube, you see Will there on the graphic, and like, Will, what is Will for? Will Howard be next? That is the question. Will Howard be the next player to lose his black stripe at Ohio State? I'm taking away it's just out of everybody. No, the transfers, those that are incoming and true freshmen that are early enrollees. Will Howard be the next player to lose his black stripe? I think for him, it'll come at the conclusion of a scrimmage. It could be the scrimmage on this weekend, on Student Appreciation Day. It could be another scrimmage before the spring game. He could even lose it after the spring game. Your boy I don't really matter. To me, it doesn't matter when he loses it. Does he lose it early? Does he lose it late? Y'all, I really don't care. Of course, I do think it. Only thing I may say that might mean something is if he doesn't lose it during spring practice. That may speak about how he is playing so far and how he's viewed. But I don't care when he loses it. I don't. And I know I said that I thought he's going to win the quarterback competition. That don't mean I think he's the best thrower of the football on the team, or that don't think I think he's the best processor of the football on the team. That's just what I think is actually going to happen, that Will Howard will be the game one starter. Possibly not the starter for the entire season, but at least game one, it's Will Howard's job. No, I'm not all in on Devin Brown. No, I ain't all in on Lincoln Ken Holtz. Yeah, Ken Holtz can shake things up just like Julian Sand and Aaron Nolan can, but no, I ain't all in on none of them. I'm not really all in on Will Howard being the best quarterback and a major upgrade over Kyle McCord. I'm throwing that out there once again because I'm not getting off that. I will move past that for a little bit, but I'm not really sold that Will Howard is that dude at quarterback. No, I am not. But what I will say is this. This weekend is a great opportunity on Student Appreciation Day, where Ohio State is emphasizing and appreciating the students in Columbus. Hey, man, go out there, do your job, do your thing, show everybody you got the goods, and lose it. That's all I got for Will Howard. Now, others that could potentially do it, it wouldn't shock me if Seth McLaughlin or Will Kazmarek loses their black stripe before Will Howard. It wouldn't shock me at all. And think about this when it comes to Will Howard. It's something I thought about earlier today. Will Howard literally had an extra session or an extra practice to lose his black stripe. Ryan Day allowed Devin Brown and Will Howard to throw the football during Ohio State's pro day to the receivers and running backs that were out there showcasing their skills in front of the NFL scouts. Bruh! And you still ain't lost it yet. Now, remember, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But for Ryan Day, for Chip Kelly, they all understand. Being a quarterback in college is hard. Being a quarterback at Ohio State is different than almost any other place in the entire. Now, I will say that. It's different than any other place in the country, and it doesn't get much better than being the starting quarterback at Ohio State. It does not. Stroud embraced it, understood it the longer he played. Fields embraced it, understood it the longer he played. Haskins embraced it, understood it the longer he played. Trust me, there's a lot of great quarterbacks that we've had the privilege of watching at Ohio State wear the scarlet and gray. It just hits different. It just means more when you get that title of QB1 in Columbus. It does. And so, yes, I am not shocked. I am not shocked that he hasn't lost it yet. Because I think Ryan Day and Chip Kelly are holding Will Howard to a different standard. Hey, you got to do a whole lot of things way up here, way up top to lose that. Why? It's a tradition. And you had a tradition-rich school that has a tradition now that was started 11 years ago, 12 years ago, when Urban Meyer took over as Ohio State's football coach. I love the tradition. Absolutely. When I first heard about it, I'm like, wait, what? What is this? What's going on? Why is Urban making this? Does it make sense? Of course it does. Yeah, you can get that scholarship. You can sign that document. Buddy, put them pads on to show me you can work. Put them pads on you, show me you got the goods. Put them pads on and prove it to me on the field that you got it right here in Columbus. Will Howard can be next. And I think it may come at the conclusion of a scrimmage. It wouldn't shock me if Seth McLaughlin or Will Kazmarek lose their black stripes before Ohio State's the quarterback they got for the portal to replace Kyle McCord. Larry Johnson recently spoke on some plans he has for the defensive line, and it's something that we discussed on this show recently. We'll dive into it next. This week's March Madness Bracket Highlight is brought to you by our friends at Nissan. Each week, we're picking one team that stands out, a team that's pushed it further than the rest. Just like any of the all-new 2024 Nissan SUVs, these guys were able to take it to the next level. The Iowa State Cyclones can only be described as a Pathfinder. They've been thrilling to watch and have really created a lane for themselves, entering the tournament as one of the hottest teams in the country. They have a date with Illinois this Thursday in the Sweet 16. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. This episode is also brought to you by our friends at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen every day. The everydayers got a glimpse of the minds of J.E. Stevens and a frequent contributor of the show, Jeff Hunt, on full display recently. The last time Jeff came on the show, I believe it was the last time, we kind of discussed how Ryan Day should manage the roster at Ohio State in the world of playoff expansion. And I also hinted at it over and over and over in that show that, hey, Ohio State needs to find a way to rest players. Kind of how in the National Football League, once you clinch a playoff spot, and really before in the old school way, before those 1 bye per conference, when it was 2 byes per conference, you could, hey, if we got a bye locked up or a division locked up, we're gonna rest our players maybe a little bit more than expected to preserve the human body for the long haul that is the National Football League playoffs. The same thing goes for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Got to find a way to play and to preserve the body for the CFP in an expanded format with the 12-team playoff now. Now they 4, and in a couple of years, surely looks like we're going to have a 14-team playoff. And Larry Johnson said, in light of the playoff and in light of playing more games, playing more games to win a national championship, what is the potential plan? Playing younger guys to preserve the body for potentially playing 17 games in a season. Now, I'm not saying that he listened to the show. I'm not saying that at all. But if he did, thank you. I appreciate it. We all do. Come back for more. I don't know if I'm even first on that. I don't know. But I know Jeff and I hit on things first on this show that haven't really got out there. Hey, man, kudos to Larry Johnson. Shout out to him for understanding the assignment. I know we say that sometimes as a joke or, hey, so-and-so understands the assignment, and it's kind of funny or sarcastic in a way. No, this is true. It ain't no sarcasm. This is the real. I don't really say that phrase, but I said it twice on this show today. It might come up more. Who knows what's going to come on this show. Oh, buddy. He kept it real with us, realizing I got Tuimalowell. I got Sawyer. I got Williams. I got Hamilton. These guys going to get drafted eventually. I believe all 4 of them will get drafted in the next draft. So Ohio State's going to have to do what? Figure out what you got and put them on the field in the upcoming season. But think about this, though. If you play younger guys and you, instead of playing 6, you're playing 8, maybe 9, maybe 10. You might see 10 guys rotate in those games where you know it should be an easy done deal. Ohio State wins by 45. In those games, yeah, you might see some freshmen play. You might see a Joshua Mickens play that played at my high school that is one that people are saying, oh, he's not this. Oh, no, he's not that. Let that boy get on the field to show you what he is. What does he have to do first? Bulk up. What did Will Smith Jr. have to do? Bulk up. What has he done? Bulked up. Jason Moore, what has he done? Bulked up. 6'5", 295, prototypical 3-tech from what I heard from someone recently saying, look, great, okay, cool. But what is this going to have to do now? You're going to play a lot more younger guys, and it's A-okay. And that goes for other positions too. It's not just D-line. We talk a lot about rotation with the defensive line. I know you don't rotate on the offensive line. I know you rotate with the running backs, but sometimes in some of these games, you can pull your starting O-linemen a lot quicker than you may normally pull them to preserve their human bodies. And it's A-okay. It's not a problem with that. It's just the nature of the beast. It's what needs to happen. Speaking of things that need to happen, I hope this mindset of finding ways to preserve the body is one that's in all of the coaches, all 10 assistant coaches, Ryan Day, the support staff, the consultants, and the analysts, and whoever is inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, whoever is inside the shoe on a Saturday afternoon or evening, whoever it is, everybody needs this mindset. No questions asked. You all, everyone needs the same mindset. If everybody has the same mindset and they're all in one mind, well, not truly one mind, but truly in unison and in unity with, there we go. The words are starting to slowly come to my brain. If everybody is in one accord with what's going on, with what the plan is to preserve the bodies of the players for the long haul that is the CFP in the 12-team format, things will be good. Really, really good. And as I think about the expanded playoff, we have not heard, this is the last thought here for the show. We have not heard exactly what the plans are for the NFL draft, the combine, the East-West Shrine game, the Senior Bowl, all those pre-draft events and evaluation periods and events that go on annually. When you think about expanding the playoff, the college football don't care about the NFL. They care about the NFL draft, but currently and right now, what's driving the sport is the almighty dollar. So I am very, very curious to see when those dates move. And I understand moving the combine might actually be something that Lucas Oil Stadium or wherever it might be on the road, which I don't think it'll leave Indianapolis anytime soon. All the NFL people, all the smart people, those that are in the know, they want it in Indianapolis. It makes it really easy and convenient for everybody, for the north, south, east, west. Indianapolis International Airport's a really good airport, rated one of the best airports in the country all of the time, top 10 consistently. Great, cool, all those things. And I wonder, hey, man, if they got to move it back a week and then the draft, which I think the draft should be moved up, not moved back. Moving it back to the end of April was stupid, not smart. I understand why they did that, but ultimately move it up because personally right now, I am getting tired of the same old narrative. If you move that bad boy up, great. Speaking of same old narrative or things that are kind of stupid that come out this time of year, why do people believe J.J. McCarthy is so good? Like an NFL quarterback good. The analysts that I believe and trust don't really buy into that narrative. But all of a sudden, Jim Harbaugh. Of course Jim Harbaugh's going to back his man. That's his dude. Beat Ohio State numerous times. Won the national championship. Won the Big Ten Conference championship numerous times. Of course he's going to rock with his boy. I get it. It makes sense. But for people to come out here and say, J.J. McCarthy is this or that. Y'all wasn't saying that during the season. Y'all wasn't saying that when they played Penn State and ran them all almost every time in the second half. Look, make it. Now, granted, them running the ball, it worked. I'm not saying it didn't. It worked. But look, do y'all really want to excuse J.J. McCarthy's film because of some underwear Olympic events? No, you shouldn't. Never, ever, ever. Didn't know that was going to come up, but whenever I think about the draft and think about what J.J. McCarthy is currently doing, yeah, he has done some good things. I'm not saying he hasn't done good things. He has. But y'all look at his film. What nobody saying he was one of the best quarterbacks in the country in any period of time during the season. Now, the pre-draft process, y'all say that man might go in the first round? Please, miss me with that nonsense. Don't miss me with tomorrow's show, though. Got another good one. I'm up here saying things I don't normally say. Got another banger. That is not me. I'm not sure what is going on. What is me, though, is, hey, stick around for this show tomorrow and on Friday. Trying to get our guy Brian Smith back on the show. Trying to link up with Jeff Hunt. Trying to get him back on the show. And Mo Murphy. Might have to get Corey Thompson, pull him out of the weeds, sarcastically, to get him back on the show. A guy who I haven't had on in quite a long time, maybe a couple years, is Shane Larson of the Gametime Guru podcast and of Scarlet and Great Empire with Corey and Johnny. Might have to get Shane back on. Great analyst. Love having him on. Love doing shows with him, but just haven't had a chance to get him on recently. Got to make sure and reach out to him soon. Have you heard the news that Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on the YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. You can follow me on X at jstevens07. You can also send all of your emails to jstevens317@gmail.com. Buckeye fans, this has been Locked On Buckeyes on a Wednesday. We'll see you.